Okay, then what? We were going to pay 3%. No. Then it came down to 0.5%. Okay, maybe that's going to happen. Then, the finance minister says, no, we're not going to move. We're not going to budge on that. That's what's going to happen. The DA says, you can try and reset talks all you want as the ANC within the Government of National Unity. We're going to go to the Western Cape High Court. We're going to try and stop this whole thing from going ahead because the parliamentary committees that were supposed to hear the process of the fiscal framework, they weren't given ample enough time in order for all of that to be put together. It didn't ring true for the idea of a multi-party democracy. Those committees didn't do the full work that was needed. It didn't allow all the parties to ventilate what was needed on all of those documents before the budget was sort of voted through, right? That was the big concern. And the DA went ahead. They went to court. You heard from DA Federal Council Chairperson Helen Zille at the end of last week, basically stating, it's rubbish to suggest from the ANC that it was their talks with the smaller parties that essentially got the VAT reversal over the line. And that the DA, at the end of the day, it was their court case, supported by the economic freedom fighters, a rare sight indeed, that eventually got the finance minister to say, no, we shouldn't go ahead with that process. And yet, we then saw the courts come out and say, you know what? The finance minister didn't follow the proper parliamentary processes, and that's what it boils down to. But what does this mean for the GNU and that apparent reset button that the ANC Secretary General, Gwede Mantashe, says is being hit as we speak? We've got a political scientist and political studies lecturer at the Walter Sisulu University, a political analyst in short, in Mbasa Mvenene from Mthatha over in the Eastern Cape, live on the line now with CapeTalk Afternoon Drive. Mbasa and Nkosi Kakhulu, thank you so much for chatting to us this afternoon.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Fantastic. Indeed, tell us, when we talk about the GNU at the moment, the DA's got a big win here. A lot of the parties are saying, the DA can't be an opposition as well as be in government and have senior ministers in cabinet positions. Your view?
I think I agree with what most people are saying in terms of this moment being a huge humiliation for the finance minister, his party, Action SA, BOSA, and this being a huge win for the Democratic Alliance and the economic freedom fighters. And from my perspective, the Democratic Alliance's participation within this GNU is actually turning out to be an internship for when it actually takes over governmental power in 2029. I think at this point in time, although the ANC has made wins in terms of the NHI, Bella, the Expropriation Act, but the implementation of those laws or policies is yet to be seen. But in terms of the interim, the Democratic Alliance and its ministers within government are really doing a good job in terms of their public relations and in terms of maintaining communication with the public through traditional and both digital media. So I think this is a huge, huge win for the DA, and it could well result in increased electoral fortunes in 2026 and 2029.
Yeah, perhaps a big win for them for 2026. 29, of course, is a long ways away. Anything can happen in the next half hour, is the saying that goes. If trying to find the reset button, yeah, the ANC is looking to these smaller parties. I can't see them ever getting some sort of GNU configuration on a minority party basis with all these small parties. Do you ever think that's something like that could happen?
No. From my point of view, I think the DA-ANC Grand Coalition is actually here to stay. We might see a possible reset probably after the ANC's 2027 electoral conference. However, in the meantime, while the current president and his dominant faction inside the ANC remain, I believe that we can expect the GNU and its current form to stay until perhaps something happens after the ANC's elective conference. But the DA is willing to stay within the marriage, regardless if the marriages are toxic, and the ANC keeps throwing tantrums in public and in their press briefings, but at the end of the day, they always go back to the bargaining table with the Democratic Alliance, and they find a way of ironing things out. Although the DA is doing its best to actually outshine all other parties within the GNU.
Sure. Okay. A strong backing there, I see, Mbasa. But you know what's been interesting to me is that out of all of these discussions, a large, I don't know, role play, if you will, that hasn't really been engaged that much and is not brought into the discussion that much around the VAT debacle has been the Umkhonto weSizwe party. And I think it does boil down to, and if you look at the results of that particular vote regarding the budget, a lot of MPs weren't in the House at the time. They could have possibly voted along DA lines against the budget, and that would have saved a lot of consternation around going to the courts, etc. Your view on a GNU configuration with MK? A lot of analysts I've spoken to before say it's not a conversation to be had.
Oh, no, I think I strongly agree with those analysts. At this point in time, I don't think the ANC would be willing to work with the Umkhonto weSizwe party. I think the EFF learned its lesson. When they got too cozy with the MK party, they ended up losing some of their top minds to the MK party. And so I believe that the MKP would be doing what the DA is doing in the GNU, but it would only be on steroids if, for instance, key leaders within Umkhonto weSizwe would be part of the government of national unity. I think the ANC strategy is one that whoever that they partner with is a party that they would be able to strong arm or to arm twist within the governing coalition. However, a party like the MKP would result in consistent instability within the governing coalition itself.
Sure. That's Mbasa Mvanene. Thank you so much for your time. A political scientist and political studies lecturer at Walter Sisulu University over in the Eastern Cape. And Nkosi kakhulu. I really appreciate it. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you, likewise.
Sure. Iba imnini mnandi.